A former assistant producer who worked at NBC and had what she defined as a somewhat consensual sexual affair with Matt Lauer is now sharing her story. And while she says that her encounter with him was not unlawful and it was not criminal, she feels that there was a certain level of manipulation that went on, and she wants to share her story. So at the time that she was working at NBC and close to Matt Lauer, she was 24 years old. She was an assistant producer, hoping that one day she could be a successful anchor like Katie Couric. And so at some point after working on the Today Show, she decided that in order to get to that position as an anchor, she would need to go to a smaller market, work as an anchor there, and then get some experience and hopefully work her way up to a show like the Today Show. So she made it known after 2 years of working at Today that she was gonna leave to go to West Virginia and anchor at a local news station there. She says that as soon as Matt Lauer realized that she was gonna be leaving, he started coming on to her rather aggressively. And she had the messages saved to provide evidence. So these are all messages from 2000. And in one of the messages he sent her, he said the following: "I hope you won't drag me to personnel for saying this, but you look fantastic. I don't know what you have done or what is going on in your life, but it's agreeing with you." So that was the first message he sent her where he's very clearly hitting on her. She says, "I thanked him and I told him about my new job. I'd like to get a little advice from you before I leave." And she really wanted him to mentor her. She really wanted to succeed in this media career. And apparently after that, she didn't hear from him much, but then a month later, the messages begin again. A month later, I got another message from Matt. "I remember exactly what I was wearing. It was a skirt, heels, and a top." And he apparently wrote to her and said the following: "Okay, now you're killing me. You look great today, a bit tough to concentrate." One afternoon, he told me to come see him in his office. I thought he was finally going to talk to me and encourage me professionally. I sat across from him and he pushes a button from his desk and the door shuts. It was embarrassing because his secretary was sitting outside. He wanted to do stuff. I was like, "No, I'm so in over my head. I'm not a performance artist." Okay.
And by the way, they did not do stuff then.
They did not do anything there.
She said no and he didn't do it.
Right. Now later on, the relationship became sexual, okay? So at that point, they had, I don't know how many, she doesn't detail every single one of them, but they had sexual encounters. The last one was at the Democratic National Convention in one of the bathrooms in 2000. And then that was the last time. And then she moved on to anchor in West Virginia. But she said that, she felt sick to her stomach about everything that happened. And she felt like it really did, destroy the trajectory of her career.
So let me be clear about most of the things that I think we easily agree on, and then let's get to a really tough conversation, okay? So the things that we agree on. So he just married 2 years at that point, and he's cheating on his wife with no compunctions. Look, I don't know that it's our place to judge him for that, and that's his personal life, but obviously that's not cool. We all agree to that. I think we all agree you can't sleep with people that work for you, and you're the big star there. So you're taking a risk, you take that risk, they catch you, even if it's consensual, you're fired, okay? And this is not the first time Matt Lauer did this, he apparently did this a lot of times. So him being fired is not really much of an issue. Okay, we all, I think, agree to that. Him having the button under his desk, super, super creepy, we all agree to that.
Yeah, it's weird that NBC was complicit in that, but okay.
Yeah, so yeah, how do you know about the button and you don't do something, right? So the part to me that is tricky, and then we'll have this conversation, is she says that it was consensual. She said it 2 or 3 times in her description of this. But she said that she was traumatized and it hurt her career, and presumably Lauer should have known that, and he's a bad guy for that.
So
that's where I don't know that's, I just don't know about that.
So let me give you more context into when things took a turn for the worst. So at this point, she's in West Virginia, anchoring for a local station there. And one day she gets out of work and she says that there was a National Enquirer reporter there who had somehow caught wind of their affair. And she freaked out, she didn't answer anything, and apparently called Lauer, and then at that point, Lauer had completely ghosted her. And then she was working at a different media organization and was working with Maria Menounos. And they were gonna do a project together that they were pitching to NBC. And apparently when Menounos tried to pitch it to NBC and NBC found out that Addie Collins was involved in it, they're like, no, we don't work with her, she says bad things about us. But she had never said anything negative about NBC ever. And so she put 2 and 2 together and realized, okay, Lauer's behind the scenes, he doesn't want me there. And it's gonna negatively impact my career, and it did. So that's what she meant by that.
So, by the way, she was on the Today Show later. Steve Kappas, the guy who ran the news division there at the time at NBC, put her on the air.
But not for that project, for something completely different.
For something else, yeah. Okay. So, and if you're questioning her credibility, she rightly points out, well, she could have just told the National Enquirer if she was interested in money, they would have paid her, and she could have done that way earlier, and she never did that, right? And if Matt Lauer put a directive on to not put her on air anymore because he's worried that she was gonna talk to the National Enquirer, then he's a total ass, and that's maybe fairly established already, right? So those are all things that he's guilty of. But what I'm asking you guys, because as a guy, I have to confess to not getting it, is if they have a consensual affair there, and she says she was flattered by it, by his attention, she was happy about it. Now she says she's traumatized. How is Matt Lauer supposed to know that? It's a real question.
Well, I don't know if she expects Matt Lauer to know that, but I do know that who I was when I was 24 is completely different than who I am now. And what she was saying was that she was young, she was impressionable, she was gullible. She did say it was a consensual relationship, and what she said. So I mean, I think if we're questioning the integrity of them for having an adulterous affair, that's fair because they did. She knew that he was married and he was cheating on his wife. But what I do think, I think her motivation is to help put the spotlight on Matt Lauer's integrity because other people who were not in a consenting relationship with him feel that, you know, people won't believe them, and she could shed some light on who he really is.
But this might hurt their cause, because I got to tell you, from a guy's perspective, and you guys can say it's terribly wrong, but that's why we're having this conversation, right? So we all learn from each other. A guy's perspective looks at this, goes, wait, perfectly consensual later becomes non-consensual, and so I'll pause there and go, that I don't know what that means, and you got to help me out with that. And for other guys who are not progressive like I am, for conservatives, for moderates, they're gonna go, well, it turns out all of this is not real.
Look,
right? And that hurts the cause.
No, I get what you're saying, and I understand people getting turned off by this angle of the conversation, but it's an important angle because this is separate from rape. This is separate from sexual assault. So you can't really put it in that group. What this is, you know, it kind of makes you question what consent means, because in certain environments, in certain power dynamics, even if you are a strong-minded 24-year-old, it's really, really hard to say no to the top star at NBC, especially when, I'm sure she was flattered, right? It is flattering to know that someone as powerful finds you attractive. There's no question about that. But when push comes to shove, even if she didn't really want to have sex with him, here's the most powerful person at NBC, super intimidating, you know, coming on to you pretty aggressively. I mean, there's that power dynamic there that makes consent a very tricky issue, and I think that's what the conversation is really about.
Well, but look, that's why for guys, this is what she really believes, and so take note of that. And if you think it's perfectly fine, they might not actually think it's perfectly fine, even though they seem to be saying that. So let's just process that. Let's understand that. But but for women though, I'm sorry, but you got to be like, you can't say it's great and then later turn around and say I was traumatized by it.
Every woman has a story about a relationship that they thought was great that later turned out that they thought it was great because of whatever state they were in at that time, where your self-esteem was. I know I regret a really long-term relationship that I have, and people who know me know who it is, and I thought I was in bliss. But what I will say is maybe imagine if you think you're in a relationship with somebody and that person has your back and you guys are cool, even if it is an adulterous relationship, that's your boy, You guys are meeting up in closets, doing whatever it is. You got this little romance going, and then all of a sudden he's like ghosting you, and then you have an opportunity for work, and you think that's your boy, but he used his power to see to it that she didn't get her show.
That's by far the worst part. I totally agree with you on that, right? But the ghosting thing actually, though, makes me go to the other side, right? Meaning that, like, I'm telling you what guys are gonna think, right or wrong. Some guys are gonna think, oh, so you were mad that he didn't continue a relationship with you.
Well, I mean, that's always the go-to, but I think that one of the things we need to get past is that everything is always framed in accordance to what guys think, and I think that's a big part of the problem. Because
so that's a great point. That's a great point because, and I look at it from a guy's perspective because I'm a guy, right? And so stories like this make me go, wow, I would have never thought that folks were thinking that way, and it's important for us all to know that, right? Now, but yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to make just a quick point. I mean, I don't think it's that difficult to prevent situations like this if you're a guy and you're concerned, right? If you're a man at a company in a position of power, don't go preying on the powerless to get your rocks off. You know what I'm saying? And that's what was happening with Lauer. It wasn't just with this woman. It was a very well-known pattern that he would go after, associate producers or just low-level employees, people who didn't have power. So it's a bad idea. Don't have sex at work or with people at work, okay? But more importantly, if you are in a position of power, do not engage in sexual relationships with people who work for you. It's unacceptable.
So, but again, to reiterate what I said in the very beginning, that's clear. Lauer being fired is not a close question, right? So, and if you're a person in power at that job, you have sex with someone that's under you at that job, you are risking getting fired. Okay, so that's just a fact. There's not a lot of gray zone there, right? But when we talk about, well, she's 24, he's a powerful guy in his 40s. I gotta be honest with you, again, I thank God that I'm married and I don't have to deal with this stuff, because let's say I'm single. So where do I draw the line? 24, I'm not talking about work, that's easy, that's an easy line. I meet someone, I'm powerful in the internet world? I don't know, I'm not, but you know what I'm saying? But where do I draw that line? How much power do I have? Is she 24, 25, 26? I'm asking real questions and I don't know the answers.
Well, I mean, there's a batch of women that have Matt Lauer stories. If this was an isolated incident, then you could look at this and say, okay, this seems a little weird, but this is a pattern for him.
Yeah, the theme is men in positions of power knowing that there are young women who want to make it in the industry, and so they take advantage of them in that scenario. So the scenario that you're mentioning outside of the workplace is actually very different, because you don't have control or power over the woman unless she's coming to you hoping to get a job or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So again, with Weinstein, with Lauer, with all these other guys that we talk about, Russell Simmons, these are men in positions of power in specific industries, and they go out looking for women either that they already work with that aren't in positions of power, or women who want to make it in the industry. And
then let me ask one more question. Sure. If you're a guy out there and you have some degree of power in an industry, should you be careful and not sleep with any woman in your industry under the age of 25?
Well, I mean,
literal question.
I don't know if it has to do with dating somebody who's 25. I mean, I think it's impossible to look at the situation without looking at the pattern. But what I will say is if you look at these guys, if you look at all of the guys that we're talking about, it is true. They do prey on young, weak women who don't have power, and there's something that they're getting off on. This is beyond the sexual thing. It's a mental thing of getting off on people who are, and that's what rapists do. And what I will tell guys is what she just said is, like, if you know that you work at a place where you have power, then don't sleep with the PA, don't sleep with the assistant, the girl getting the coffee. I'm not 25 anymore, so my reality has changed. But I will tell you, it was Matt Lauer and all these guys we're talking about. They are just the guys who got busted. And I keep saying that over and over again. The reality is that they don't think, and this was happening during a time where they were getting away with it. You hear about Bill Cosby and they were like, oh, everybody knew not to go over there because they were not getting in trouble. So that also speaks to who they are. They keep doing stuff because they know that there are no consequences.
And that people will cover for them. Yeah.
So the last thing I'll say to the audience is, look, it is not only easy but understandable that if you're in the two different camps, that you're gonna get really angry, okay? So if you're a woman who's had to deal with any of this, you don't wanna hear the other side. And you don't want to talk, oh, like, but how about this and how about that? And you're tired of my stupid questions, right? And you say, look, I've dealt with this stuff and you're not getting it, right? And you get angry. If you're a guy and you don't have the female perspective, you go, what the hell? I'm not supposed to have sex with anybody now because I'm slightly more powerful than them? And you get angry, right? Well, instead of getting angry, what I'm asking you to do, and it's a hard ask, is to listen to the other side and have conversations like this without getting really angry at each other and hearing each other out. And hopefully we get to a better place.
Or you can fight for women to get equal pay and have equal power, and then you can date your equal. And then this is not an issue.
That's a wonderful solution. What you just watched was one of the videos that we do today, but we actually do a whole 2-hour show every single day. It's a podcast. You can watch it in video or listen to it as audio. You can download it, you can stream it, and you get it completely ad-free if you could become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.